The theme tonight is where your habits leading you. So the whole sum of our life is all about our habits. And as I put up there, it's also habits of thought, which that's what attitudes are. It's just a habit of thought. And there was a great story of, can anyone remember the year that the earthquake in LA, you know, that huge earthquake, was it 94 or?
The riots took place?
Yeah, that's right, because there's, all the, they call it looting and, yeah. But anyway, I was reading something that one of the television or news crew, while they're doing all different stories for this, they actually, over the Golden Gate Bridge, no, San Francisco, must have been down that way, anyway, one of the big bridges. And what was actually happening because of all the earthquakes and all the roads closed, to get into work, and I mean the traffic's bad enough in those cities anyway, that it was just bumper to bumper and the whole city was in chaos, as you can imagine. So anyway, this roving reporter decided to, while he was on the freeways, to do some interviewing for the news. And he stopped one guy, trucked in the front, because the traffic was just stopped dead and it was taking like 7 hours to get to work. And he said, "So how are you finding it, sir, you know, the traffic?" And he said, "Oh, geez, you know, I'm just so fed up with this, things aren't working, I have to waste all this time sitting." And he just went on and on. Anyway, he left into it and went down to the next car. I'm going to wind down and he said, "Excuse me, sir," he said, "you know, how do you find all this is affecting you?" Big earthquake in LA back in, I think, the 90s. And this roving reporter was checking out some of the reactions of the people stuck on the freeways and that, dead still. The guy in the next car said, "Do you know what? No problem." He said, "See here next to my seat," he said, "I just carry a whole stack of CDs. And he said, I just use this time," and he said, "I learn, it's like my university. And I sit and do my thinking," and he said, "You know, sometimes I just start the car," and he said, "I bring my books and I pack my thermos of coffee." He said, "No problem." Same situation, same challenge and disaster, two totally different attitudes. And that's what it's all about. It's not actually what happens in your life. It's the attitude and the meaning you make up about as to how successful or unhappy we create for ourselves. So the theme tonight was mainly about attitudes and habits. And it's just, I'm going to ask you a moment to really have a bit of a consider about what are your habits? Because our whole life and whatever's showing up around you is the whole sum of your habits from the minute you get out of bed to when you go to bed at night. So how do you get out of bed every morning? How do you shower? How do you dress? How do you think and how do you talk? How do you converse with people every day? What are you creating in your life through your habits? And when you actually start to consider that, it'll be the degree of the type of habits, if they're really positive good ones, or ones that are not serving you so well. So if some of the habits are to be changed, just imagine how much, if there's some things in your life showing up that it's not quite how you want it to be, what new habits could you start to develop? Because for each one of us here, we'll have some habits that are actually a little bit self-destructive and are stopping us moving forward, being the amazing potential each one of us has. Where are we stopping ourselves through our habits so that we can just actually really shine and have the potential and do everything we want to do in all areas of our life, not just work, but you know, as a spouse or a partner, in our own life. And to speak of spirituality, that was actually what I was going to go into Malaysia to speak on, spiritual side of life. To me, I've taken away from some religious beliefs, which that incorporates religion for some people. If we also look at the spiritual side of our life, is how much time do we spend in here in some quiet time and self-reflection and self-development? So if we start to have to think about that, how much time do we take out in that area of our life, just to say this is my time, I'll do some meditation, I'll do some self-reflection, I'll just take some time out for me. I'd love to play golf, I'm just going to go and have a game of golf because it's my time out, just for me. So just considering that when we talk about maybe the spiritual side of life as we dot our way around. So just for a moment, seeing we just happen to be in partners here, just have a quick conversation with each other about what habits do you think are actually holding you back to stop you move forward, because in a moment I will ask you if you might like to write down a few habits that could be the opposite of that to allow you to really move forward. So just have a couple of minutes each saying, what habits do you think you do? So considering how you jump out of bed, do you bounce out, it's like, wow, awesome day today, what am I going to achieve? Or is it kind of like put the thing on snooze and say, oh God, another day? I mean, we all have those days. Right the way through to how we're thinking, what sort of habits of thought have we got? How do we interact with people? How do we show up every day? How do we do our business? How do we do our family stuff? So what habits that may not be serving us, and being pretty honest, we don't have to share the most intimate ones that you don't want to talk about, but just in general, just have a conversation.
Probably for me, that sense of getting in bed is procrastinating a lot of times. So snooze button, running a very formally choice. So I'll put the alarm when I do it to procrastination. Have all the intention of this. Get us up to the breakfast. Put the snooze button on to end up getting pretty